Welcome to Learn Yourself. Today we are going to learn and understand the chapter 11 of Standard 9, that is work and energy. Let us first understand what is work. When we are moving anything, that is work. When we are pushing anything, that is work. We are thinking and we are discussing something, that is also work in terms of mental work. All these are work, and we can categorize all these things under work when we are using certain type of energy. For example, I am pushing one rock and I am applying certain force to it. I am using certain energy to that. So energy has been used. While you are thinking, your brain is working for that. Your energy is being used for that. So that is also work. Now another aspect of work is displacement. That it shows and it proves and it is a proof of work done, that yes, because of the use of this energy, this work has been done. So that is a displacement. Here we are not discussing about thinking, whatever mental work we are doing in our routine life. We are discussing the work in terms of physics concept, and where the two concepts are important, that is energy used, and the second thing is displacement has been done or not. Displacement is very important, that is a proof of work done. For example, if I want to move any rock and that rock is very huge, I am applying certain force, I am using my energy to the fullest and I am pushing that rock. But that rock is not displaced from its place. So there is no displacement. Even after I have used energy, but displacement is not there, then in that term work has not been done because there is no displacement. So this is a concept of work in terms of physics. So let us understand more about this concept and we will see what is a condition for the work. So these are the two conditions. That conditions needs to be satisfied for work to be done. So when we are saying that yes, this work has been done, then there are two conditions. These two conditions has to be satisfied. First, force. That force should be act on an object. That certain amount of energy has been used and certain amount of force has to be act on that object. Second thing, the object must be displaced. So if object will move from its place, an object has been displaced, then only we can say that work has been done. So these are the two conditions which we have to keep in our mind when we are solving the numericals, when we are thinking about work has been done or not. So based on this, let us understand more that what all are the conditions, that how the force should be applicable on the object, and what all are the criteria, what all are the chances for the displacement, so that the work, we can say that the work has been done. So as per our earlier two conditions, what is a work? Work is a product of force and displacement. So how much ever force has been applicable to do a work, that force, and because of that force, how much the object has been moved from its place. So that is a distance, that is displacement. So when we are taking a product of these two, so that is our work. So work done is equals to the product of force and a displacement. So how can we explain this? That work done by a force acting on an object is equal to the magnitude of the force multiplied by the distance moved in the direction of the force. What here they are saying is, for example, this is a box and I am applying certain force to that. So how much work has been done on that? That will be equal to the magnitude of the force that is applicable in the direction in which the object is moving. This both direction should be equal. That we want to move object in certain direction and the force. So that moving direction, that displacement and force direction. Here this is a force and this is a displacement. Both directions should be equal. Equal to the magnitude of the force multiplied by the distance moved in the direction of the force. So then only we can say that work has been done. If we are forcing the object towards this side, but if it is not moving, then work has not been done. If we are applying force in this direction and the object is moving in that direction only, then the work has been done. And what is a measure of work done? How to check that how much work has been done? Then it will be equal to the magnitude of the force we have applied. That means how much ever force we are applying, that much work will be done. So this is an explanation of this formula. Now work has magnitude and it does not have any direction. Work has magnitude, that means it has one specific quantity, that yes, this much work has been done, that we are measuring in joule and we are measuring in Newton meter, that we are discussing ahead when we are discussing the units of the force and displacement. So it has only magnitude, it has one physical quantity, it will tell us that yes, this much work has been done, but it does not have any direction. That work does not have any direction. Yes, force has a direction and displacement, it has to be in the direction of the force, but work do not have any direction. It has only magnitude, it has only physical quantity, but it does not have any direction. Now let us discuss about the units for the force, displacement and work. So force we are taking in Newton, displacement we are taking in meters. So as per this, the work is Newton meter. So as per this units, when we can say that 1 Newton force has been applied to a certain object, it has displaced for 1 meter, then the work done on that object is 1 Newton meter. Now this 1 Newton meter is also known as joule. This Newton meter is combinedly known as joule. So here we can also say that 1 joule work has been done on that object when we are applying 1 Newton force and the object displacement is 1 meter. Then either 1 Newton meter or 1 joule work has been done on that object. These are the units which are appropriate for the force, displacement and the work. So in the numerical, if these are not the units, then we have to convert the other units into this unit. Now let us understand one important concept of work, that can work done be zero or negative? What all are the chances when we can say that work done is positive? So let us understand all these three situations and we will understand when work done is positive, when work done is negative and when can it be zero. So let us first understand for the work done is zero. So always we have to keep in our mind two conditions for the work done, that the force is applicable in the direction of the displacement. Force has to be applied on that, but into the direction of displacement. This is important condition, that force has to be applied on that, but it has to be in the direction of the displacement. Then second is force whatever we are applying, because of that the displacement has been done or not. So these two are important condition for the work to be done. So when this work can be zero, when we are applying force, but in that situation we are applying certain force, but if there is no displacement, the displacement is zero, then we need to multiply that zero with certain force. In that case our work done is zero, because W equals to F into S. Even if the force is large, the S is zero, there is no displacement in that terms, and in those conditions the work done is zero. So the displacement is an important condition. If there is a displacement, then only the work done will have certain magnitude or will have certain physical quantity. Otherwise if displacement is zero, then work done is also zero. Now let us understand when the work done is positive. So when I am applying force to this object in this direction and this object is moving in the same direction as I have applied the force. The first condition is satisfied completely and it displaced in the direction of the force. The displacement is also in this direction. So both directions are same. So in that case, the work done is positive. In this case, the work done is positive and we will get certain magnitude or certain physical quantity for the work. And what is the important condition for that? That force whatever we are applying, that direction and the direction of displacement should be equal. That means we are applying force in this direction and block has to move in this direction. Then only the work is positive. Both directions are same, then only the work is positive. Now what all are the chances when work done is negative? So in third situation, I have applied certain force to this block. It will move for certain distance and it will stop because the friction force, the retardation force which is in the opposite direction is as high as my force. Or we can just imagine a situation that a car is going in certain direction and after certain direction this car is moving in this direction and after certain period of time it will stop. I am pushing it, I am applying a force to the car in certain direction, but because of the friction force which is applicable in opposite direction, this is a friction force, this also known as retardation force, it is in the opposite direction and because of that the car will move after certain distance. So in this case the work done is negative. The car stops because of the friction force and this force is opposite to that of the displacement and that's why the work is negative, because here the first condition is not satisfied, that force is applicable to the car, force is applicable to the object, but it will stop the object and it is in opposite direction. Here we have applied this force, but this force has not moved a car. This force actually worked and it has stopped the car. Now what is the direction for this force? It is opposite. So that's why work done is negative. Whatever force we are applying to the object, that force is doing work in which direction? If the force direction and work direction is same, then it is positive. But if the force direction and the work direction is opposite, then work is negative. In short, when the friction force is more and vehicle will stop or the object will stop or any body is stopped, then the work done is negative, because in that case force is applicable in opposite direction, it is against the motion. The concept is same what we have learnt in 8th and 9th and 10th chapter. If the force applicable on the object in opposite direction, opposite to that of the motion, then the magnitude for that quantity will be negative. Here we are talking about work, so work will be negative. Welcome to Learn Yourself. Let us understand today a concept of energy in terms of work done. So why we are learning concept of energy for the work? Because for any work to be done, we require certain amount of energy. When any moving object is there, that moving object will hit another object and it transfer its energy to another object, and because of that this object will also move. That means this object had energy and it had capacity to do a work. If any object is moving, that it possesses energy, and what all object is possessing a energy that has capacity to do a work. Without energy, the work possibility is nil. So if we will say that any object is doing work, then how much work has been done is equal to the how much energy possessed by that object. So we can say that energy possessed by object is measured in terms of its capacity of doing work. How much energy object is possessing, that much work it can do. So because of this reason, how much energy the object is possess is equal to the work done. So measure of the energy and work is same, that is joule. How much amount of work has been done, that much amount of energy is being used, or how much amount of energy we are using, that much work will be done. So we are measuring energy and work in the same unit, that is joule. Now as per the requirement of energy, sometimes we are referring energy in kilojoule also, 1 joule and kilojoule. What is the difference between these two is kilojoule equals to 1000 joule. That is a conversion factor, that 1 kilojoule equals to 1000 joule energy. So if the energy requirement is more, then we are calculating the energy in kilojoule. Now energies are in different form: kinetic energy, heat energy, chemical energy, and so on. From that we are going to discuss kinetic energy. What is a kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is energy which object possesses due to its motion. While any object is moving, it possessing a kinetic energy. So energy due to the motion is referred as kinetic energy. Now let us understand the concept of work in terms of kinetic energy. Now let us know more about kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Energy, the object possesses some of the energy, and that energy is due to the motion of that object. So that energy is known as kinetic energy. So energy associated with the moving object is known as kinetic energy, because that energy the object has possesses due to its motion. Faster moving object can do more work compared to slow moving object. Now whatever energy it possesses, now with that energy the object will do some work. So to do a work, object need to have some energy, and if that is due to its motion, then it is kinetic energy. If object is moving faster, then it can do more work because it has more energy. So kinetic energy of a body moving with a certain velocity is equal to the work done on it to make it acquire that velocity. That much work has been done on that. That much work has been done on that object so that it has acquired that speed or that much velocity. Why it has acquired that velocity? Because some force, some push has been given to that. And what is that force and push? That is work done on that object. So it has possesses some of the energy and it has gained this velocity. Again it has gained that velocity, that much it is possessing some of the energy due to its motion. So this energy will help this object to do some work. If this energy is more, then speed will be more. That motion will be faster and it can do more work. If the energy is less, then speed will be less and object will move slower and it can do less work. So basically the energy helped object to do some work. Now if we need to find out that how much kinetic energy is associated with any moving object, then we need a mathematical formula. So this kinetic energy formula we are finding out and we are deriving from two of the equation which we have learnt in 8th chapter. So when we are talking about kinetic energy, two of the velocities will be associated with the kinetic energy, that final velocity and initial velocity. So we know this equation, that v square minus u square equals to 2as. So this equation we have learnt in 8th chapter, and this is final velocity square minus initial velocity square equals to 2as. Now from this we can derive equation with respect to distance, that is s. So it will give us v square minus u square divided by 2a. This is equation to find out the distance. Now here in this chapter we know that w equals to F into s. Work done is the product of force applicable on that and displacement which has happened due to this force. Now F equals to, it is m into A, mass into acceleration, that is F equals to m into A. And here the distance is s, and at this place we are going to write this formula. So here we will write v square minus u square divided by 2a. We have substituted this distance value in this equation. Now these two terms are in multiplication with each other, so a and a, which we can cancel it out. So here we will get m into v square minus u square divided by 2. Here we are considering the case when object is starting from the resting position. So its initial velocity will be 0. When object is starting from resting position, at that time u equals to 0, because u is initial velocity, and after that it will gain some of the initial velocity. So this term is going to be 0. So m v square divided by 2. So we will get here 1/2 mv square. So w equals to 1/2 mv square. We got here equation that 1/2 mv square. Now work done is 1/2 mv square. We know that how much ever work done, that means that much energy we have used to do this work. So work equals to energy. If we have done certain joule of the work, then we have spent that much amount of, or that much joule of energy to do that work. So work equals to energy. So energy here we are talking, that is kinetic energy. So Ek equals to 1/2 mv square. This both will be similar because how much energy we will spend, that much work we can do. And if the work is 1/2 mv square, then energy also will be 1/2 mv square. From the same formula we can find out the kinetic energy also. And this is a special case in which when object is starting from the resting position. So in that case the initial velocity has been 0. So this term has become 0. So we have left with mv square divided by 2. So that is 1/2 mv square. So here we got two equations, that w equals to 1/2 mv square and kinetic energy equals to 1/2 mv square. So work and energy, if we want to find out in the case where initial situation of the object is resting situation, then we can find out through these two formulas. Here we are going to learn and understand about potential energy. So what is potential energy? Potential energy is something object has gained due to its position. Some work we are doing on an object, so that work is stored in terms of energy into that, and that energy we can utilize further for some more action. Let us consider one example of rubber band. When we are stretching a rubber band, so this is a rubber band and it's in its normal shape. So when we are stretching it, I am doing mechanical work on that, and when I am leaving it, it will go far with some speed. Again, this is a rubber band in its normal shape. When I am stretching it, I am doing some mechanical work on that. I have transferred my mechanical work to that, and this energy has been stored in this rubber band in terms of potential energy. I have done some work on that because I am still stretching it. Now that energy has been stored in this rubber band in this situation. Now when I am leaving this, then it will gain some velocity and it will go far from this place, like this. So whatever energy has been stored in that has transferred to the kinetic energy, and whatever work has been done on that, that work has given some energy to rubber band. Now let us understand what is potential energy. So here potential energy possessed by the object is the energy present in it by virtue of its position or configuration. So position means I have stretched the rubber band, or configuration means that is how it has made. For example, toy car. We are just winding the keys of the toy car and the spring remain inside the toy car will become, the spring remain inside the toy car will get some turn and it will compressed because of the winding of the key. Now when you are keeping it down on the floor, that spring will slowly open up and that energy will transfer into kinetic energy and toy car will move forward. So all these types of position of the object will give a certain amount of energy. So the energy stored into an object because of its position or because of its situation or configuration, that energy is known as potential energy. Now these are the examples. Stretch rubber band we have seen. Then second example is stretch slinky. Then winding key of the toy car. So when we are winding a key of the toy car, then our mechanical energy has stored into a potential energy in the spring, and once we are keeping it down on the floor, it will convert into kinetic energy. So energy gets stored due to the work done on object. To gain potential energy, we must do some work on the object. Then only our mechanical work, our mechanical energy has been transferred to that object in terms of potential energy. And that object will store that energy in terms of potential energy, and then that energy can be transferred into another energy. Because simply we cannot create energy and we cannot destroy energy. If there is an energy, then some work has been done on that object. So in that terms, we are just transferring energy. Energy stored in terms of potential energy. When we are doing work on an object, we are storing some of the potential energy in the object. Now let us understand how potential energy will work. So object's energy will be increased when raised through a height. For example, this is a block and I have raised this block for a certain height, say h. So this work has been done on this object, and how much work we have done on that object, that much energy has been stored into this object. Now suppose if there are some energy, then that energy will be increased by doing certain work. So due to this height, this energy has been stored in this object. Work done is against gravity. Now whatever work we have done here, that we have raised this block from this ground to certain height. So this is against gravity, because gravitational force acts towards downward and we have raised it opposite to that. So this work is against the gravity. So here energy whatever stored in terms of potential energy is known as gravitational potential energy, because it is against the gravitational force. So that's why this is known as gravitational potential energy. Because this energy possessed by an object, that is because whatever work has been done on that, that is against gravitational force. So that's why this potential energy is known as gravitational potential energy. Now if we want to derive equation for a potential energy, then this is our general equation of the work, that work equals to force into displacement. So F equals to, we are writing here m into g. M into g we are substituting here at the place of F, that is force. Now S is our displacement, that for a certain height we have raised this object. So this much distance has been covered through this path for this object. So that S we have replaced with h, because for certain height we have raised this object. So we have written here h. Now the energy equation for this object is potential energy equals to mgh. This mg, that is representation of force, and h, that we have raised this object for certain height. Now when we are choosing a path, for example this is a path A and this is a path B. that here we have raised an object in a straight path and here we have chose a different path. But in both the path we have taken object at similar height. So in both the cases, whatever energy gained by object will remain same. So potential energy is not depending upon path. It is depending upon at which level you have raised the object. If you have raised the object till here, that is level 1, then whatever path you will choose, in another object also the energy gain will remain similar. It is depending upon level. Yes, if you have chose another level, at the second level or at certain height which is higher compared to this level, then that object will gain some more energy. But if the level will same, then path doesn't matter. The energy possessed by the object will remain same, because potential energy is not depending upon the path you choose. The potential energy depending upon the level you choose. Level means at which height you have taken the object. One height represents one level, another height represents another level. If the levels are different, then energy will be different. The measure of the energy or the magnitude of the energy will be different. So potential energy is not depending upon the path, it is depending upon the levels of the energy or the height at which you have raised the object. The energy equation for the potential energy is mgh, where mg represents the force and height represents at what height or at what level you have taken or you have raised the object against the gravitational force. Let us understand and learn today law of conservation of energy. As per this law, energy neither can be created nor can be destroyed. So here we are going to understand that how potential energy and kinetic energy will remain constant at all the time when any free falling object is coming towards the ground. So let us consider this example where ball is falling towards the ground and it's a free fall. Now what is the meaning of free fall? Free fall means without any external force. We are just dropping a ball from a certain height. So we have taken this ball to a height h. So due to that it has gained certain amount of potential energy. It has certain amount of potential energy and after that there will be a free fall for this ball. So under free fall it is falling towards the ground. Now at this height its potential energy is maximum because we have raised this ball till height and we have done some work on that. So that work, and due to that work the energy has been stored into this ball in terms of potential energy. So when a ball is at certain height at resting position, its potential energy is maximum. So here at this stage the potential energy is maximum. But at the same time when we are talking about the kinetic energy, so it is at resting position still, at its fall has not been started. So its kinetic energy is minimum at this level. So this is maximum and this is kinetic energy is minimum at this level. Now once it is starting to fall and once it is coming towards the ground, it is free fall, and at all the time the potential energy and kinetic energies sum and total will remain same throughout the distance as it comes from top to bottom. But yes, as it is coming down, its potential energy is started converting into kinetic energy. So once its fall has started, it is gaining kinetic energy, and from here itself its potential energy has started to convert into kinetic energy. But at all the time its potential energy and kinetic energies sum or the addition will remain same or will remain constant, because we are not losing any energy. Whatever potential energy is there, it's simply converting into kinetic energy. So for example, the constant is 4 joule energy is there. So at this level the potential energy will be 3 and kinetic energy will be, so 3 plus 1 it will be 4. In the middle it will be 2 plus 2, and at the ground the majority of the potential energy has been converted to kinetic energy. So it may be 1 plus 3, that 1 potential energy and 3 kinetic energy, but the constant or the addition will remain same, that is 4. Now here, as it is coming down, its potential energy is decreasing. Potential energy is decreasing and kinetic energy throughout this journey will increase. As it will reach till ground, the potential energy will be minimum here and its kinetic energy will be maximum, because it's all of the potential energy has converted into kinetic energy and it has been used in this journey. So complete potential energy has been transferred into kinetic energy, but throughout its journey the potential energy and kinetic energy has remained constant. So if we are taking the addition of these two, we will get a constant, because in this total process there will be no loss of energy. So here potential energy and kinetic energy, this is simply a conversion of potential energy to kinetic energy. As it is coming down, potential energy is converting into kinetic energy, and as it is reaching till the ground, the maximum potential energy has been converted into kinetic energy. So here we will get constant, because addition of potential energy and kinetic energy is constant. Now potential energy, we know that is mgh. We know that energy equation for the potential energy is mgh, whereas kinetic energy, it is 1/2 mv square equals to constant. So when we are solving the numerical for the constant energy or for the law of conservation of the energy, then it is mgh plus 1/2 mv square equals to constant, because total potential energy, total of the potential energy and kinetic energy is constant. Now let us understand about the topic power. So when we are talking in terms of work done, then sometimes if the energy is more with the machine, then machine will perform the work in smaller period of time, because its energy is more, its power is more. So when the energy is associated with the machine or any agent is more, then they are performing the same task in smaller period of time compared to other machine or other agent or other person who are having a less energy, less power or less mechanical energy. So that we are considering under power. Power is more, then the time for that work done is less, because its power is more and its energy is more. So power is equals to rate of doing work, that in how much time period you have completed that work, that is known as power. Power is also means the rate of transfer of energy, because in any of the case we cannot generate the energy, we are always transferring the energy. Say for example, mechanical energy is being transferred to kinetic energy. So if that transfer is fast, that means the power is more, and the time period which we are taking to do that work will be less, that means power is more. And in that case, rate of transfer of energy from mechanical energy to kinetic energy, that is fast. So the power is more in that case also. So an agent is doing work W in time T. That expression will give us formula for the power. So that is power. Agent means any machine or a person who is doing a work, or any object who is doing a work. So if that work is completing in time T, then we will get a power. That power equals to W by T. That work done in one specific time period, that will give us power. Now power we are measuring in the unit of watt. So this 1 watt power equals to when rate of consumption of power is 1 joule per second. When we are utilizing a power, 1 joule power in 1 second. when we are utilizing 1 joule power in 1 second, that means 1 watt power we have used for that particular work. So that 1 watt power equals to 1 joule per second power or energy we have consumed. Now this watt, other expressions are 1 kilowatt also, and that is 1 kilowatt equals to 1000 watt. Now another conversation for 1 kilowatt is 1 kilowatt equals to 1000 joule per second. So power is basically the ability to do a work or energy of agent or a person or a machine to perform a task or a work in limited period of time. So if time is less, then power is more. So hope this video has solved your doubt. In coming videos we are going to cover some important concepts. So don't forget to subscribe, learn yourself. I'll see you in next video. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing.